Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into, well, a really fascinating source stack. It feels ancient, powerful, like Hermes Trismegistos level wisdom. But it's presented almost like software engineering. We're looking at the universe as a planet in OS, an operating system, and our inner life as a kind of kingdom of stars.
Yeah, it's quite the setup. The source actually takes on the persona of Hermes Trismegistos, but specifically as, get this, the court jester.
A jester, okay.
Think about it, right? The one person in the kingdom who could tell the king the unvarnished truth, the stuff no one else dared to say, without, losing their head.
Doing it through humor, satire, what would the source call it? Märchen?
Märchen, Fantasien und bunte Geschichten. Fairy tales, fantasies, and colorful stories. It's a deliberate strategy.
So the idea is, don't treat this like some rigid doctrine. It's more like a user manual disguised as entertainment.
Yeah.
Our mission then is to sort of decode the jester's performance here.
Exactly. We're looking for the practical applications. How does this help with self-mastery? Maybe getting a handle on information overload, finding some inner structure. That's the goal.
Because if you just read it straight, as philosophy.
You miss the whole point. The jester knows that metaphor. Playfulness. That's how you slip past the ego's defenses. We need that aha moment where these grand celestial metaphors click into place as like our personal cognitive architecture.
Okay, let's unpack that architecture. The source talks about the Königs module, the King's module. Is that just a concept, or is it described as something you actually install?
It's presented as fundamental, like the operating system of God himself, supposedly given way back to Adam and Eve. It's framed as the essential tool for, well, accessing multidimensionality, for consciousness expansion.
Wow.
So not just a nice idea, no. It's the master blueprint for your inner system. It's meant to let your consciousness operate at, like, full potential.
That's a huge claim, and it maps onto us physically. The planets aren't just out there, they're in here.
Right. Located within us, running along the spine, kind of mirroring the chakras, the 7 main planets are your core inner crew.
7 main ones. But there are others.
Oh, yeah. It's a full ensemble cast. You've got the big 7, then the 3 invisible or outer planets. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, plus Chiron and Lilith acting as helpers.
So it gets pretty complex. What do the outer ones do, for example?
Well, Pluto, for instance, is the transformer. Deep, unconscious stuff, regeneration, death. Neptune is that connection to the spiritual realm, but also, potential illusion or delusion. The whole crew needs a director.
And that's the king. The consciousness in the heart, the sun center.
Precisely. And this sets up the hierarchy. The head, the intellect, is supposed to serve the heart, the king, not the other way around.
Which leads right into what the source calls the NPC dilemma.
The non-player character, basically anyone who doesn't have the king actively installed and ruling from the heart.
So what happens then? Their inner crew, Mars, Venus, Mercury, they just run wild.
Pretty much. They're on default settings, totally driven by external stuff. Whatever's happening out there dictates their reactions.
I think we can all relate to that feeling sometimes. Which brings us to the zodiac theater.
Yeah, the 12 houses, the signs. That's the external state, the matrix, if you like, the daily drama playing out.
And if you're an NPC,
your inner planets get completely caught up in it. They're just reacting. Mars flares up because someone cut you off in traffic. The moon energy makes you weepy because of some sad news story.
Total chaos. Aggressive one day, anxious the next, just bouncing off the walls of this zodiac theater.
Exactly. You're like a puppet, and the strings are being pulled by whatever drama the zodiac signs are cooking up that day. You lack that internal command center saying, hold on, I decide how my Mars energy gets used today. It's about internal self-determination.
Okay, so getting that determination, installing the king, sounds essential. But you mentioned infrastructure first. Where do we start building?
The source is adamant. Before anything else, you have to stabilize the foundation. And that starts right at the root chakra with Baba Saturn.
Baba Saturn, like Father Saturn.
Yes. Think of him as the BIOS of your personal operating system, the absolute bedrock. The source argues no system, personal, corporate, whatever, can last without a stable Saturn.
Like the pyramids, they had good Saturn.
That's the example given. Millennia-lasting structures imply a perfect understanding and implementation of Saturn's principles. If your foundation is shaky, the whole thing eventually collapses. Mentally, financially, physically.
And he's not just about rules and discipline, is he?
Yeah.
The source describes him as incredibly powerful.
Oh, absolutely. The most powerful in the entire universe, the cosmic accountant. He manages your soul's records, holds the contract for your lifespan.
Wow.
Even his ring is described not just as ice and rock, but as the debris and trophies from other systems he's, defeated.
Gives you a sense of his sheer gravity, right?
Definitely. So if you want to expand, to go multidimensional, you have to deal with Saturn first. Non-negotiable, you have to satisfy him. And this is where it gets really practical. If you're constantly battling bureaucracy, if your finances are a mess, if your house is chaotic, your paperwork's never done.
Your internal Saturn is weak.
Exactly. And so external Saturn systems, the government, the tax office, your landlord, they dominate you because your own internal structure isn't strong enough.
Okay, that makes the stakes very clear. So how do you strengthen it? What's the action?
The source specifies daily Rikverbinding reconnection, connecting back to the source, ideally 5 times a day.
5 times? That sounds intense. Almost like religious practice.
It mirrors some practices, yes, but the key is Hingave devotion. It can't be mechanical, just going through the motions.
But isn't that just replacing external rules with internal ones? Where's the freedom in that?
But that's the jester's paradox, isn't it? Saturn demands structure, but by building your own solid internal structure, your own internal authority, you actually become more resilient, even immune to the restrictions of external authorities. You're building the foundation for your own sovereignty. Then the king has a stable kingdom to rule.
Right, makes sense. Build the castle walls before you declare yourself king. Okay, foundation secured with Saturn. What's next for expanding the kingdom, materially speaking?
Now we move up. The source talks about the life force, especially for men, accumulating in the lower chakras, calls it the gold nuggets or the life elixir.
Gold nuggets, so like vital energy.
Exactly. Raw manifestation energy. The power to build, create, bring things into the physical world. The king needs to learn how to manage this gold, how to preserve it and channel it.
And if you don't, if you waste it,
that directly weakens the inner sun, the king. It diminishes your power to manifest. The source makes a really interesting connection here.
yeah.
With the word insolvens, insolvency, it links it back to Latin, meaning without sun.
Yeah, without sun. So wasting that core energy literally leaves you without the inner solar power to, well, shine and create wealth or stability.
That's the idea. Your inner sun goes dim.
Okay, so how does this connect to relationships, to the queen figure?
This is where Venus comes in. She's the queen, the magnetic force for the king.
Magnetic?
Yes. When the king preserves his gold, his energy, and invests it inwards towards his queen, his feminine counterpart, she becomes the magnet. She draws the desired reality, the wealth, the home, the family to the kingdom. He provides the focused energy. She provides the attraction.
Interesting dynamic. What about for women? Is there a parallel challenge?
Definitely. The source warns about women getting stuck in Mond energy, the moon, which is the nurturing, supportive mother archetype.
And neglecting the Venus role, the magnetic queen.
Right. And if that Venus magnetism is missing, it causes problems in the system, the relationship. The king needs that attractive force to draw abundance. If the queen is only in mother mode, the source suggests the system, by its nature, will look for that missing Venus energy elsewhere to complete the circuit.
Okay. So preserving this gold, this energy, is crucial.
Yeah.
How do you actually channel it then, instead of just wasting it?
Transmutation, alchemy, really. The source describes techniques.
Like what?
Instead of external release, you channel the energy upward, usually through specific breathing techniques combined with contracting the core energy locks, like the root lock or PC muscle area.
Okay.
The idea is to consciously direct that potent fluid, that elixir, up the spine.
To where?
Ideally to the heart center, to the king. That refined energy then becomes fuel. Fuel for healing, for manifestation, for actually powering up and installing the king's module itself.
So that shift from outward release to inward fuel, that's the core of self-mastery in the system.
That seems to be the essence of it, yeah.
Okay, let's synthesize this. We've covered a lot: the OS, the crew, Saturn, the king, the queen, the gold. If someone listening wants to apply this, to gain that freedom from the zodiac theater, what's the path, the step-by-step?
It's hierarchical, and the source insists you can't skip steps. First, Saturn. Get your foundation absolutely solid. Order, discipline, stability, finances, home, commitments. Your word has to be law.
Step 1, Baba Saturn. Got it.
Second, install the king. Make sure consciousness resides in the heart, that the head is serving the heart's intent.
Okay, foundation, then the ruler.
Only then can you effectively start mastering the rest of your interplanetary crew, Mars, Venus, Mercury, etc., making sure they serve the king's goals rather than just reacting to the external zodiac drama.
And the ultimate goal of all this?
Freedom. Freedom from being jerked around by external events, by your own uncontrolled impulses. Freedom from that mental and emotional prison.
Right. And speaking of payoffs, the source The gesture leaves us with something pretty mind-blowing about what happens when you achieve this mastery, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Something about Saturn's contract.
Oh, yeah. It suggests that achieving this level of mastery actually allows you to, well, renegotiate your contract with Baba Saturn.
Renegotiate your life contract.
Essentially, yes. The king, fully installed and powered by this knowledge, isn't bound by the standard NPC lifespan contract, the typical 70, 80 years.
So what does that mean?
The source hints at radical longevity, living for hundreds of years like the biblical figures, Noah maybe, or even thousands, like the legends attribute to Hermes Trismegistos himself. 28,000 years is sometimes mentioned.
Wow, that's quite the promise. Escaping the default settings entirely.
That's the ultimate potential of the King's module, according to this source. The only thing stopping it, the gesture implies, is simply not knowing the system or knowing it but failing to actually implement it.
A lack of knowledge and application.
And there's a final kicker, a sort of warning from the gesture.
Oh.
That this knowledge, this ancient wisdom packaged this way, is particularly available now. During this transitional time between ages, the door to receive it, to implement it, is open.
But maybe not indefinitely.
That's the strong implication. The window of opportunity is now for those seeking genuine sovereignty.
All in. Seize the moment, install the king, and maybe have a chat with your cosmic accountant, Baba Saturn. Seems like a good place to start.